Going to WrestleMania is an overwhelming experience, especially if it's your first time attending. While I'm no experienced traveler, I did go to my first WrestleMania this past March, and I'd like to shed some light and give some tips if you're planning to make a trip to the granddaddy of them all. Tip number 1. Book your hotel. The first thing you'll need to do is figure out your hotel accommodations. Hotel rooms are the first to go, and rates are usually much cheaper the further out you book. However, some hotels will only allow bookings 10 months or so in advance. This makes snagging a hotel room close to all the festivities really tough to do. Search travel websites such as Expedia and try to get an idea on how far out the hotels you want to stay in are booking their rooms. Then get your wallet ready. Most hotels will ask you to pay for the duration of your stay up front if you're using a travel site. Make sure you have the funds ready to book the hotel if that's the case. Most of these travel sites do offer free cancellation. Just make sure you're familiar with their terms before you agree to pay anything. Also, be sure to check reviews on your hotel. If you're unfamiliar with your area, and the hotel or motel that you're eyeing has less than great reviews, you may want to pay more or stay a bit further out to have a better stay at a higher rated hotel. I stayed in a nice hotel about 5 miles away from the San Jose Convention Center and was able to ride the light rail system that was located a few blocks away to all the week's festivities besides Ring of Honor. At $2 per ride, that beats the heck out of hailing a cab and paying their rates. Tip number 2. Decide what you want to do and stick to it. There are so many things going on WrestleMania week that it can be difficult to decide what you want to do. It's all a massive time crunch. If it's your first Mania, I recommend doing the WWE trifecta: Access, Hall of Fame, and WrestleMania. Obviously, WrestleMania is probably the reason why you're going, but you need to experience both Access and the Hall of Fame to truly decide if it's something you care about. I loved Access, but the Hall of Fame was something I left early and felt as though it would be best to watch this event from the comfort of my couch next time. I also recommend trying to attend the Ring of Honor show, even if it's out of town, as that was my favorite part of the whole weekend. Once you plan out your week, it's time to budget. Tip number 3, you can never save enough. Think you have enough money saved up for your trip? No matter how you budget, you'll be surprised by how much everything costs, how much there is to buy, and how much you want to buy. Budget conservatively for things like travel, food, transportation, merchandise, amenities, autographs, concessions, and any other little thing you can think of. Prices are usually a third more than what you normally see. Instead of $20 for a shirt, it's $30. Instead of $2 for a bottle of water, it's $6. If you need to take cabs everywhere, you'll need a good amount for that. Plus, there's a ton of WrestleMania exclusive merchandise to snag. You're going to want a lot, and you'll need to have the money ready. If you're a person with good self-control, this might not be such a problem for you. Still, it's good to be prepared, and saving money is a good practice in general. Tip number 4. Be at the ready. Bigger events like WrestleMania usually have a set date for when the tickets go on sale. For those, you'll be able to be at your computer, ready to buy when they pop up for purchase. However, some events will seemingly pop up at random or have a pre-sale code to allow early access for tickets. I missed out on a Raw after WrestleMania ticket because I wasn't in on the pre-sale. It's also a good idea to look at the stadium or arena maps and pick a section and type of seat you'd like to aim for, or something like it. Take into consideration obstructions like signs and people standing in front of you, and your personal vision. It's not very fun to pay a lot for a ticket only to not be able to see what you bought the ticket for. Also be ready for random events to pop up. This year, WWE sprang an NXT event on everyone on very short notice. I bought a ticket thinking I'd be able to do Ring of Honor and NXT back to back, but later I had to sell my NXT ticket the day of the event when I realized I wouldn't make it back in time to attend. Tip number 5. Knowledge is power. One of the biggest things you can do to make sure your trip goes smoothly is to familiarize yourself with the different policies of the transportation you'll be using and the buildings you'll be visiting. Know how the public transportation works by memorizing bus and train schedules, and be sure to figure out how much it costs to ride. Public transportation usually offers Clipper cards, which allows you to preload a card with cash and use that instead of buying a ticket every time. As for buildings you'll be attending, each building has their own bag policy. Some arenas won't allow you to bring in any bottled water, but some stadiums do. If you're attending an NFL stadium for WrestleMania, such as Cowboys Stadium for WrestleMania 32, you'll need to follow the NFL bag policies, which can be really strict. If you plan to bring enough stuff that you'll need a bag, you'll need to buy a clear, see-through bag that matches the measurement guidelines. WWE sell these sort of bags at their superstore at Access, though they only sell one size from what I saw. Tip number 6, charge it. You'll be using your phone a lot, taking pictures, calling friends and family, recording video. Not only are you going to be using a ton of your storage and data, you'll also be using up all your battery life. Buy portable external chargers for your phone and carry them with you in case you can't find a charging station or don't want to be stuck at a charging station for a while. Make sure the chargers you buy have a high enough capacity to get a couple of recharges out of them. As for using storage and data, you should transfer all your media off your phone and onto a computer before you head out. That way you won't run into any issues while you're trying to get a picture of you and a wrestler you just bumped into on the street. With data usage, most of the buildings you'll be at will offer free Wi-Fi, so try to connect to that before using your data. Unless you have an unlimited data plan, in which case, don't worry about it. Tip number 7, keep an eye on your stuff. There will be thousands and thousands of people around you, especially at the events. Make sure you keep your valuables in your sight at all times. Place wallets in side pockets where you can feel, and don't set bags full of merchandise down unattended. Also, don't agree to give anyone anything you want back. Let someone borrow a pen? Sure. Let someone have your hotel room key in exchange for something like transit? Bad idea. This may sound like a no-brainer, but it happened to someone this past Mania, and many of their belongings were stolen. It's best to take the "Don't Trust Anyone" motto to heart. There will be plenty of friendly wrestling fans there to meet and exchange social media handles with, but just remember to keep your valuables close. Tip number 8, stay hydrated. You're going to be walking around, standing in line, yelling and screaming from the stands. You need to keep yourself fully hydrated, especially if you're going to Texas, where the humidity is horrible and even unbearable to those who haven't experienced it before. You'll start sweating just by walking outside of your hotel. Always have a bottle of water with you, unless you're going to an arena that won't allow it. It's also best to get into the best shape you can. Not only is this another good general practice, but WrestleMania can be a physically demanding weekend if you're not in good health. Tip number 9, go with friends. If going with friends just isn't an option, that's not a deal breaker. Still go and have a great time. However, if you're going by yourself and you're not an extremely social person, it may not be as fun as it could be. If you can coerce your friends into going with you, you'll have a much better time sharing that experience with someone you can talk about it with down the road. Not only that, but when you're around friends, you tend to break out of your shell more and have a better time. Again, this isn't a make or break tip, but it could help your experience overall. And tip number 10, enjoy yourself. I didn't go to WrestleMania because it had a great card and there were people I wanted to meet. I went because for one weekend, that's the hub for all wrestling fans. It's a place you don't have to feel in the minority when it comes to your fandom. WrestleMania weekend, there will always be someone weirder than you, louder than you, more fanatical than you. You'll feel right at home. There are a ton of different promotions in the area, so no matter who you are, you'll likely find something to do. Whether it be the phenomenal Ring of Honor show, Evolve, Kaiju Big Battle, Jim Ross's one-man show, Mick Foley's comedy show, there's just so much to do, and it all revolves around wrestling. You don't have to like the main event of WrestleMania to have a good time, and you can tailor your trip to your needs. Attending WrestleMania can be a great experience, but it can be costly in more ways than one. Hopefully this video gave you the tips you need to fully prepare your trip to the wrestling vacation of your dreams. Thanks for watching, like the vid, and subscribe if this was helpful, and share it with others you know that are looking to go to WrestleMania. Until next time, I'm Lex. Catch you later.